Hello, everyone, and welcome back. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today, wherever you are in this great world. We're gonna talk about XRP. And I gotta start with this from RippleX. XRP Community Day returns February 11th. Are you ready? We're hosting one global event across 3 regional X spaces, so anyone can join live. February 12th for APAC. If you hold XRP or follow the ecosystem, this is the clearest look at where things stand today and what's taking shape in 2026. Agenda and speakers coming soon. Register now and add the event to your calendar. Remember last year's event, and I remember that was really big. I can't wait to see what happens with this year's XRP Community Day. I'm sure it's going to be something you want to take part of. Swift trials on XRP and HBAR done. Who wins the crown? Now, in this article, there's no clear winner. But the one thing that they point out is the Hedera ledger is able to take in up to 10,000 transactions per second, edging XRP ledger's 1,500 transactions per second. But the one thing that nobody factors in when it comes to XRP is the roadmap shows 2027 integration of interledger protocol. All of a sudden, it's 1 trillion transactions per second. And that's going to be absolutely game-changing. I think HBAR and XRP, they're going to play their own roles inside the new financial system. Each one of these cryptocurrencies, they're not fighting each other. They're going to complement each other. And I'm a huge fan of HBAR and XRP. I remember during the bear market, there was nonstop growth for Hedera, just like Ripple. Every single day, there was announcement after announcement for both Ripple and Hedera. And as we seen all that growth, there was no price appreciation for HBAR or XRP. I still think that value is eventually going to show up in the prices of these two cryptocurrencies. But they're not fighting each other, and HBAR and XRP, they're going to be running side by side in the new financial system. Remember this? This is now making a comeback. So you see, coming from Baba Cugs, XRP will add $5 trillion to market cap overnight. So I asked Grok if this is possible, and Grok came up with the price per XRP would need to hit $82 using the 61 billion circulating supply, or up to $50 if fully diluted, the 100 billion tokens. So that's where the price would have to go. But then I asked Google, XRP market cap to $5 trillion overnight through tokenization, because that's the only path that I seen where this could happen. Achieving a $5 trillion market cap for XRP overnight is highly improbable, requiring astronomical price jumps, but tokenization could drive significant growth by increasing XRP's utility as a bridge currency for digital assets on the XRP ledger. While experts discuss XRP hitting $5 to $10 or even $100 for massive caps, a $5 trillion valuation would put XRP between $80 and $100 per token. It would surpass Bitcoin's entire market cap and entire crypto market, demanding extreme institutional adoption and network effects, with tokenization playing a role in boosting utility, not necessarily overnight value. So what Google is saying is that this is possible, but it's going to happen over time. But what about Archax wanting to bring $30 to $50 trillion in tokenized assets to the XRP ledger practically overnight? That would absolutely be a game changer. I would agree with the AI. I think it's going to happen, but it's going to happen over time. However, what about if the price of XRP is a set price by the banks? Well, then you would wake up tomorrow or the next day or someday in the future, and XRP's market cap would be well above $5 trillion. That would happen like an overnight event because the price of XRP would already be set by the banks. And then when they come out of the testing phase, we get to see that price like a flip of the switch moment. Like I always tell you, anything is possible when it comes to XRP. I just think that it's going to be gradual upward movement over a period of time. And then all of a sudden, a massive price surge. That's how I think we get to 4 digits for XRP and beyond. Now, there's a major argument going on in the crypto space. So you have Brian Armstrong on one side and Brad Garlinghouse on the other side. I'm going to play Brian Armstrong's clip first from Coinbase. Take a listen to this about stablecoins.
Got the Genius Act passed into law, which actually did enable stablecoin rewards to happen. The banks had their own concerns, and we reached a good outcome in the Genius Act. And now the banks really are coming and trying to undermine the president's crypto agenda. I mean, these are the same banks that debanked him and his family, right? And they want to come in and say that Americans should not be able to actually earn more money on their money. They're trying to protect their own profit margins, taking money out of the pockets of hardworking average Americans and putting it into the coffers of these big banks that are hitting record profits. And so our view is that there should be a level playing field where banks and crypto companies can lean into stablecoin legislation as an opportunity. And that includes paying rewards to Americans so that they can earn more money on their money.
I 100% agree with Brian Armstrong right there. And I'm not even a fan of Coinbase. Here's what Brad Garlinghouse had to say.
Clarity is always better than chaos, and the industry needs clarity. Perfection, I think, in my experience, is the market structure bill that's pending in the banking committee, is it perfect? No, certainly not. But is it better than nothing? Absolutely. And I think we need to continue to work constructively with Washington to get and continue to iterate what is already sitting in front of the banking committee to make it better. But we shouldn't give up now. We are so close.
So Brad just wants to get something put in place. Meanwhile, Brian Armstrong is fighting for the working class. And my opinion is this, and I always thought that investors, retail should always come first. A working class guy or girl goes to work every single week. Instead of putting their money into a broken checking or savings account and collecting less than 1%, can now go over and put that same money into a stable coin and earn 4 to 6%. What do you think people are going to do? They're going to earn that 4 to 6%. And I think this is important because it allows people to earn from their money. It helps them fight back against inflation. Even a little bit counts, in my opinion. And a lot of people said that Brad is doing this because Ripple wants to become a bank. So Brad's not going to go against the banks at a time like this. But I don't agree with that either. I think what Brad really wants is he wants to get something put in place now, and maybe they figure out some of the problems with it later. Who really knows what he's thinking? But here's what it comes down to, and this comes from the Bank of America CEO. He argues interest-bearing stablecoins could pull $6 trillion from traditional bank deposits, potentially raising borrowing costs for small businesses that rely on bank lending. They need you to keep putting your money into that savings or checking account week over week so they can loan that money out. Now, here's the great part for them. They're collecting interest on those loans. Meanwhile, you're not getting anything. You're getting less than 1%. And in some cases, these banks are pulling in 9, 10, 11%. Some only 6, maybe 7%, depending on people with good credit, so-so credit, and so on. The banks are getting rich while you're staying poor. They don't want to give you an alternative. And that's what stablecoins are, an alternative to the broken banking system. And this comes from Paul Barron. Take a listen to this.
And I looked at this data right here, and I was trying to figure out who in the world believes that the government should stop consumers from earning rewards. There's 12%. Who are these people?
Well, I sure like to meet them and have a coffee and hear them out, because I, for the life of me, can't imagine why someone would want to deny Americans that choice, that option. Look, you may love stable coins, you may hate stable coins, or like most Americans, I suspect, you may not have an opinion about stable coins. But denying those people who want access to this technology and this financial opportunity, well, in a word, it strikes me as nuts.
Everybody should have the ability to earn off of their money. If somebody comes up with a way to make that happen, the government should not keep them from helping people. That's the way I look at it. And these politicians, their banks are lining their pockets. That's why they're fighting with the banking system. They're fighting for the bankers. That's what I should have said. But they're getting rich off of these banks because these banks, they're the ones pushing these laws. We can't allow for yield on stablecoins. It hurts our business model. Well, how about you fix your business model and give something back to your customers? That's the way I look at it. Goldman Sachs explores opportunities in crypto and prediction markets. CEO Solomon confirms. Goldman Sachs is taking a closer look at crypto-related technologies to see how they could fit into its core business. Speaking during the firm's fourth quarter earnings call, CEO David Solomon said the review is focused on regulated prediction markets, stablecoins, and tokenization, which he views as increasingly important to the future of financial markets. Banks either need to get into this space or they're going to get left behind. And remember, all the banks wanted to create their own stablecoin. So why don't they create their own stablecoin, figure out how to earn yield off of that stablecoin, get their customers to buy that stablecoin, and maybe kick back 3% yield to their customers? Most of the customers would be very happy with 3% in returns compared to less than 1% in returns. But if these banks started opening up options for their customers, they're going to grow their customer base. Most people outside of crypto have no idea what a stablecoin even is. But if you told them they could get free money by holding that stablecoin, guess what? They would hold that stablecoin. That's why I think we're going to see adoption for stablecoins first. Then we're going to see adoption, mass adoption for crypto as well. This comes from Ripple, introducing the University Digital Asset Accelerator. UC Berkeley and Ripple's University Blockchain Research Initiative launched a pilot program to accelerate the transition from academic innovation to institutional XRP utility. The UDAX UC Berkeley mission, scaling enterprise solutions using XRP, bridging the gap between early stage ideas and market readiness, connecting founders with Ripple engineers and global VCs. What's great about this University Blockchain Research Initiative, it's bringing more projects to the XRP ledger. And at the same time, it's bringing more utility for XRP. But in this video, I just wanted to show what's going on with this market structure bill. And this battle is going to continue on. Everybody wants to earn yield, and that's going to be the biggest barrier that they have to get through. But here's the thing. These politicians could now tell the banks, hey, listen, you're going to have to kick back a percentage to your customers, or whatever happens, happens. If your customers decide to invest in stable coins and get rewards, so be it. It's time to put these banks in their place. These people are getting rich while their customers are not getting anything. And that needs to be put to an end. So if there's a better option out there, let people use it. And until it all happens, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.